So today we're going to start to make this actual tactile texture collage. And remember that our learning objective is to identify and use actual texture that you can feel as well as see. And we're going to create a pattern of repeated lines, and they can be curved or wavy, straight, whatever you decide, but some are going to be a little bit more complex and some can be a little simple. So the way that you're going to start this is you're going to get a black piece of paper. You're going to need to write your name in white crayon so we can see it, and the day you have art, which is whatever day you have art, and then you're going to flip it over. And then you're going to go over to my bends. I have bends of, let me zoom out here so you can see. I have bends full of bags separated by color of different tactile collage pieces. We've got yarn, corrugated paper, we have waffle paper, tissue paper, construction paper of different values of the same color. And you're going to go over to the table and pick one or two colors to work with. So I'm going to start with a simple pattern first, and I think I'll go ahead and use green. So I'm going to go to my green bag and I'm going to pull out some waffle paper. And this has an actual texture to it, you can feel it. And I don't want to see you just take what you get out of the bag and glue it down. I want you to come up with some sort of pattern. So on the waffle paper here, I think what I'm going to do is cut out some diamond shapes. So I layered 2 waffle pieces of paper, and now I'm cutting out a diamond shape. This can be recycled, this scrap, and now I'm going to take my other waffle paper, stack them on top of each other, put the diamond on top, and follow along with that with my scissors. You could always take your pencil and trace around this if you want, or you can just do what I'm doing. So all this will be scrap. And I probably don't have enough diamonds to reach across my paper if I lay them down like this. So I need to get a few more pieces of waffle paper, stack them on top of each other. I'm going to lay a diamond on there, and I'm going to cut some more of these diamonds out. So you might go over to the bags, over to the station with all the texture pieces. You might pull some out, go sit down, and you might realize you have to go back and get more. All right, now you have to decide, once you decide what you're going to start with, you have to decide what kind of line you're going to do. So on my example here, I did a curved line over and over again. I have some unfinished examples, these aren't quite full enough, where I did just a straight diagonal line. This one's more of a wavy line as opposed to the curved line that you see here. Neither one of these are complete, they're not full enough, but those will give you some different ideas of lines that you can do. So I think I'm going to do wavy, and I'm going to do my wavy at a diagonal. I could just go straight across horizontally or vertically. You know what, I think I'll do vertical. So you're going to take your glue bottle and you're going to draw the line that you're going to follow. Now you don't want to make a wavy line too wavy. You want to make it more big giant waves, because this paper won't be able to show that detail and then it'll look like a muddled mess. So now I'm going to take the waffle paper, my diamonds, and I'm going to glue them along the wavy line. And this is a fairly simple pattern, not a lot of complexity to it, just one shape repeated over and over again. Leave a little bit of space between each piece, but try to follow along the wavy line as much as possible so that it looks like a wavy line when you glue these down. Alright, I could probably fit one more diamond on here. So let's see, you know what, maybe just part of a diamond. So I'll take this scrap here and cut a diamond shape out and glue that on there so it's more full. Okay. So now I'll go back over to the bags and I'll pick some new paper that I'm going to work with. And I think I'm going to do a complex example of some complex patterns. So I've got some purple paper here, and I'm going to choose this darker purple to work with. So I'm going to pull that out of the bag and think that might be enough. And now I'm gonna move to a different color to put on top of this purple. So I think maybe I'll do yellow on top. And this time I think I'm just gonna pick some tissue paper, some yellow tissue paper out of the bag. Now what I like about tissue paper is that you can kind of wad it up and create some texture. So that's what I'm gonna do. So the first thing I'm gonna do is stack this purple paper. Try and stack it evenly, but it's not all cut the same. I've got a little piece back here that maybe I need to put on the top. And I think I'm going to do some oval shapes out of this purple paper. So I have the smaller piece on top, so I'm going to carefully cut out an oval that fits in the smaller piece. And I'm cutting all the pieces at the same time. If you find this really hard to do and get a neat shape out of it, it's just total mess what you cut, then you need to maybe not stack all your ovals together. Maybe you do a couple at a time. So here's all my ovals, fairly neat. This one here's got a straight edge to it, so I'm going to recycle that. I'm not going to use that. So let's see, will this be enough to go across my paper? Yeah, that'll be plenty. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw another wavy line, not too close to the first wavy line, and I'm drawing it with my glue, following along the same wave. And then I'll start gluing these ovals down, following the wave, leaving a little bit of space between each one. Alright. And now I'm going to take this yellow tissue paper and do something on top of these purple ovals to make them look a little bit more interesting. So I think I'm going to take just a few pieces of tissue paper. I'm going to cut them a little bit smaller. And I think I'm going to put just a dot of glue in the middle of the purple oval. And I'm going to take a piece of tissue paper, just kind of wad it up to create an interesting texture, and glue that down right in the middle. And I'm trying to wad it up nice and tiny and small, so that it doesn't cover up the oval and just look like trash that's glued on top. I want it to look like it's there on purpose, but that you can still see the oval. So I'm wadding this up real tiny and squishing it down in the glue so it stays and doesn't get bigger than the oval. Alright. So I have some extra tissue paper here. I'm going to go put back in the bin so somebody else can use it, back in the yellow. Now I'll go and I'll pick a new color. I think on this one I'll do some corrugated pieces. And I'll do a simple pattern on this. I think maybe I'll alternate simple, complex, simple, complex. And with this corrugated paper, it's got that the wavy edge to it. I'm going to cut some strips and do a simple pattern this time. So I'm going to take and cut these into little strips. So I might not need very many of these. This might be all that I need. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw a wavy line next to this, following the wave. And then I'll take this corrugated and make kind of like a broken line that you'd see going down the middle of the street. Long broken line pieces. This is supposed to be blue, but it almost looks like a gray color. Alright, and I need a couple more pieces. I probably need 2 pieces, so I'm going to cut 2 more. Then this corrugated piece that I got left over, I'll put back in the bag for somebody else to use. Try not to be wasteful. And then this piece hangs off a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and trim that right next to the black edge. So I have a nice broken line there. Okay, so now I probably need to do some complex patterns for this next space. So I'm going to go ahead and go over and get some paper. Maybe I'll start with waffle paper for the red. And I think maybe I'll just do some squares, and then I'll put some circles on top of this red. So let's see. These aren't all cut the same. We've got some big and some smaller pieces, so I'm going to cut them all the same size square. Pull this this be enough to reach? I need at least one more. I think maybe I'll cut 2 more just in case. So I'll get some more waffle. Lay these squares down on top. And get 2 more about the same size. These are a little bit bigger than I might use, but this is going to be complex, so I'm going to add something more to the top of that. So I need to draw another wavy line with my glue. And I'm spacing these out pretty far. My finished example here, I've got them much closer. So I might be spacing these out too far. I might need to put them a little bit closer because I think it does look nice when they're closer here. I could essentially add some more stuff maybe in between here. Probably here might be a little tight, but we'll see. So now I'm going to add these squares, and then I'm going to make them a little bit more complex. After I get these glued down and come up with something to add on top. I think maybe I'll add some circles. Okay, I could probably take some scrap and glue that hanging off, so that's like a square hanging off. There we go. Okay. And I think I'm going to add some circles. So I'll go get some paper. I think I'm going to do orange. And let's see, how many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably 7. I really can't fit one on there. So I have 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm going to stack these all, put the smallest one on top. And you could draw it with your pencil first, or you could just cut it out, but make sure you cut out neatly. I'm going to cut out some circles, and then I'll glue these on top by just adding a dot of glue. This didn't come out cut very well. It has a straight side to it, so I'm going to trim that down a little bit and glue that on here. All right, now I thought about it. This is a pretty big gap between, so I think what I'm going to do is add another line of glue. And I think I'm going to get some yarn, because I have some yarn pieces in the texture, and lay those down kind of like a broken line. And that'll help fill the space and not make it so empty between each piece. And that'll add some actual texture as well. And that's a nice added little strip there. And then I'll trim this off, and I'll trim this off. So a nice straight edge, okay? And you'll just keep doing this until most of your space is full. I probably, with this one here, I would do probably one more line. And then that's pretty full, and that's enough. You can have some black. You can see here, I didn't keep going up at the top and the bottom, but these just aren't enough. So this needs more added to both of these. But this one's pretty full. That could, if you've pretty much filled your paper, you could be done. This one, I think one more line, and then I'd be full. And then you put this on the drying rack and clean up your mess, recycle your scraps, and get your workbook.